Hey everyone on Reddit, my name's Tyler, and I guess this is where we spill the beans, right? The stories that are too real for our everyday fine thanks conversations? Well, buckle up, because here's mine. I'm a 40-year-old dude living in the tech-vibrant city of Austin, Texas. By day, I'm the brains behind some of the most talked about AI projects that you might have seen making the rounds on tech blogs. I'm talking code that's meant to make life easier, or at least that's the plan. My wife, Rachel, she's been the artsy type since the day I met her, now a freelance graphic designer with a keen eye for what makes things pop on a screen. Together, we've ridden the roller coaster that is the Austin scene, me with my app launch parties, her with gallery showings where the wine flows as freely as the critiques. We've had a good run for the past decade, our home often a mosaic of my tech gadgets and her vibrant canvases. But here's the kicker, folks, the reason why I'm hammering out my heart and soul into this keyboard. Rachel's been distant lately. I don't mean the busy with a deadline kind of distant, that I get. This is cold, almost like she's a hologram in our home. Her laughter doesn't ring as loud, her smile doesn't reach her eyes, and man, it's like pulling teeth to get her into bed. Not for sleep, mind you, but for the kind of midnight tango we used to dance without a second thought. Nowadays, there's always an excuse, a not tonight tie or a I'm just not feeling it, followed by the turn of her back and the silent void expanding between us. At first, I figured it was just a phase, you know? Everyone gets the blues or a touch of the no libido flu. But then it stretched out, 1 week, 2 weeks, heck, the calendar pages kept flipping, and my bed became as barren as Mars. I've always been the guy with a plan, a solution, a way to debug life like it's one of my programs. But this? Man, I felt like I'd hit a wall, and behind it was a Rachel I couldn't reach, locked away with secrets I couldn't fathom. So there I was, staring at our joint credit card statement like it was some kind of ancient script written in a lost language. Hey everyone. Unfortunately, basically everyone who is watching these videos isn't subscribed. It would mean the world to me to quickly get out of the full screen video for 3 seconds and press that subscribe button. It's free, and you can unsubscribe anytime. Sorry for bothering, and thank you so much if you subscribed. Charges from places we've never been to together started to dot the landscape of our bill. A fancy restaurant downtown, where, believe me, they serve steaks that cost more than a pair of my sneakers. A boutique hotel, that's the kind of place you'd take someone to say, hey, you're special, and not in the kind of way you'd expect a wife to be spending without her husband. And then there was Rachel, who'd become as secretive as a teenage girl with her first crush. Every time I walked into a room, I'd hear the click of her laptop slamming shut faster than the doors on a bank vault. Phone calls ended with the suddenness of a TV show canceled mid-season. She was whispering like she was plotting to steal the crown jewels. I mean, I'm not a jealous guy by nature. I'm the dude who's secure enough to say, yeah, she's mine, and not worry when she's out there being her fabulous self. But folks, my gut was screaming louder than fans at a rock concert, telling me something wasn't right. There's a line between trust and being a blind fool, and I felt like I was tightrope walking right over it. The trouble with gut feelings, though, is that you can't take them to court. You need cold, hard facts, evidence that would stand up and say, here's the truth, without a stutter. And I had nothing but whispers and shadows, the kind of stuff that would make anyone else say, Ty, you're just being paranoid. But come on, when your bedroom's gone ice cold and your wife is more mysterious than a spy movie, you tell me how you'd react. And let's not forget those hushed phone calls, like she's sharing secrets that could start World War III. So there I was in our local coffee shop, just a guy and his latte in the corner, the unofficial observer of the daily grind. That's when I caught a snippet of conversation that had my ears perking up like a hound on the scent. 2 guys in suits, and I'm not talking off-the-rack specials, were jabbering about some group that sounded like it stepped right out of a James Bond flick, specializing in discreet relationships for the married crowd. Now, I'm no eavesdropper by trade, but this was too much of a coincidence. What are the odds, right? So I did what any man desperate for answers would do. I sidled up, casual-like, and threw in a comment about the espresso that led to a chat about what's good around here. Before you know it, I'm pretending to be Mr. Interested and they're spilling the beans about secret signals. Here's the kicker. The secret handshake of this club? A black ring. Not just any ring, mind you, but one worn specifically on the right hand. A mark of the inner circle, a discreet bat signal for the cheating elite. I chuckled and played along, but inside, my heart was doing the kind of drum solo you'd pay good money to see. Later, back at the ranch, that's my less than homely home these days, I decided to do some late spring cleaning. And lo and behold, what should I find tucked away in Rachel's jewelry box behind some trinkets and baubles? A black ring, shiny and smug like it knew secrets it shouldn't. The same kind those suited-up 00 wannabes were talking about. So there it was, the piece of the puzzle that slapped me in the face with a cold "I told you so." It felt like a gut punch and an aha moment all rolled into one. There was my proof, not shouting, not whispering, but just sitting there silent and damning. So there I was, late one night, just mindlessly scrolling through Facebook to distract myself from the deafening silence in our bedroom. It's amazing what you find when you're not looking for anything, right? That's when I saw it, a suggested group hidden in plain sight among the ads. It was one of those private groups, but the name caught my eye. Austin's Discreet Meat. Curiosity's a beast, and mine was clawing its way out. I clicked. Denied access. It was members only. But the public description was enough. A discreet community for those seeking to add a spark back into their lives. Sparks. Right. The kind you get from rubbing two sticks together, or apparently, from sneaking around behind your partner's back. Then one evening, I'm charging Rachel's old tablet. You know, the one she stopped using after I gifted her a shiny new iPad. And there it was, the very same Austin's Discreet Meat Facebook group left open, staring at me from the screen. My Rachel, her name in the members list, as bold as you like. But that wasn't all, folks. Alongside the tablet, tucked away in her nightstand, was that black ring I'd read about in the group's posts, a symbol for members to recognize each other in the wild. It all clicked into place like a twisted puzzle. The late nights, the brushed-off advances, the mysterious expenses. I'm telling you, the feeling of betrayal is a gnawing animal that settles in your stomach and refuses to leave. You think you know someone, right? 10 years, and now she's a stranger with a double life that's just popped up like one of those annoying ads, except there's no little X to close this window. After finding the black ring and the not-so-innocent Facebook group on Rachel's tablet, I knew what I had to do. I couldn't just sit back and let this play out without getting the full picture. So your boy went full Mission Impossible mode. I started off by setting up a fake Facebook profile. Yeah, I know. Welcome to Catfish City, population, me. But desperate times call for desperate measures, right? I spent a couple hours making my alter ego believable. I borrowed a photo of a buddy from college who now lives overseas. Sorry, Dave, but you're Jameis now, an out-of-towner who's just moved to Austin. With James all set up, I sent a join request to Austin's Discreet Meat. While waiting for approval, I couldn't help feeling like I was crossing some line, but then I remembered that line had already been crossed, just not by me. A day later, and bingo, I'm in. The group was like an alternate universe, people chatting and planning meetups, all under the guise of discretion. And there it was, pinned at the top, an announcement for a masquerade-themed event. Perfect cover for anonymity and for me to slip in unnoticed. The event was in a few days. A masquerade ball at some ritzy joint that looked like it was straight out of a movie, where the rich and unfaithful play their games. Next step, getting a costume. I hit up a local costume shop and got myself decked out. I'm talking a full-on feathered Venetian mask and a cloak that would make Dracula envious. Rachel always liked those vampire movies, right? A cruel twist of irony there, but a costume wasn't enough. I needed a backstory in case anyone got chatty. James was now a successful entrepreneur who just moved from Atlanta and was looking to meet new people. Vague but believable. The plan was simple. Show up, blend in, observe, and maybe, just maybe, get the kind of proof I needed to confront Rachel without any room for excuses. So there I was, suited and booted in a getup that would make the Phantom of the Opera do a double take. I stepped into the masquerade event in San Antonio, a lavish affair oozing with opulence and the faint scent of secrets. My heart was keeping time like a drum roll, pounding away as I threaded through a tapestry of gowns and suits all hiding behind masks. I wasn't just in costume, I was in character. James, the out-of-towner, was on the prowl, but the real me, Tyler, was on a mission. I kept my head down and my eyes sharp, scanning the sea of deception for the one face I knew all too well. And then, like a lighthouse beam cutting through fog, I heard it. Rachel's laughter. It's funny, isn't it? How you can pick out the one laugh you've heard for a decade in a cacophony of mirth. There she was, draped in velvet, a mask adorned with jewels concealing her eyes but not her aura. She was with someone, a guy sporting a grin that I could spot as sleazy from a mile off. I edged closer, every step heavy with the weight of what I was about to do. They hadn't seen me yet, just another masked stranger among many. But as I neared, my heart was pounding like crazy. It was showtime. I slipped through the crowd, made it to their little bubble of betrayal, and stood there for a heartbeat. Rachel was in mid-conversation, a glass of champagne in one hand, her free hand resting on the guy's arm. I reached up, and with all the drama of the evening, I pulled off my mask. "Enjoying the party?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. The look on her face read it was like she'd seen a ghost. Her companion, Mr. Sleaze, looked like he was about to choke on his own Adam's apple. "Tyler!" Rachel gasped, the color draining from her face. "What? How?" There were a million things I wanted to say, a torrent of questions and accusations. But I just stood there, the raw truth hanging between us like a thundercloud. I won't lie, part of me enjoyed the shock on her face, the way her confident demeanor crumbled. But the other part? The part that had loved her, that had shared secrets and dreams and a decade of life? That part was broken, shards of trust piercing my chest. The room spun with whispers now, the masquerade's facade slipping as people started to notice the drama unfolding. I saw Rachel's eyes darting around, her world unraveling in public. After my grand unmasking, there I was, standing in the eye of the storm I'd just kicked up. The murmurs began to rise around us, the masquerade's melody turning to dissonant whispers as the crowd sensed the drama hotter than the latest gossip. Rachel, her mask now nothing more than a cheap prop, looked like a deer in headlights. Her mouth opened and closed, no sound coming out at first. And me. I felt the rage building, a tempest that had been gathering strength ever since I first smelled the stink of lies. Her companion, Mr. Tall, Dark, and has seen better days, he was trying to slink away, but I wasn't having any of that. I caught his arm and gave him a look that I hoped said, "You're part of this show too, buddy." Rachel's composure cracked, the facade fell, and there it was. All the lies spilling out of her like water from a broken dam. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," she sobbed, her voice cracking. "It was just supposed to be fun, a game." A game? My marriage, our life, was a game to her? The crowd was eating it up, but I didn't care about the audience. This was between me and the woman I thought I knew. I stood there, clenching and unclenching my fists, the aggression pulsing through me. I wanted to shout, to break something, but I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of seeing me lose control. "You call breaking our vows fun?" I shot back, my voice low and menacing. I could feel the eyes on us, the weight of judgment, curiosity, and shock. But it was her eyes I was focused on, the ones that couldn't hold my gaze. The silence from her was the final nail. No excuses could bandage the wound she'd ripped open. No apologies could stitch up the trust she'd shredded. Just when I thought the drama peaked, the cheating club, Rachel's band of merry backstabbers, decided it was their turn in the spotlight. I was standing there, my rage just barely leashed, ready to give Rachel a piece of my mind that I could never take back when I felt hands on me. Strong grips, holding me back, as if I was the villain in their twisted play. "You need to calm down, man." One of the suit-wearing snakes hissed in my ear, his breath reeking of smugness and expensive cologne. Another, a guy whose face was too forgettable to be anything but a henchman, chimes in. "She needed someone who was there for her, bro. You weren't." I was seeing red. Every muscle in my body tensed up, ready to unleash the storm inside me. But I'm a thinker, see, a strategist. And I knew that any violence would only play right into their narrative, the unhinged husband, losing it while the poor, misunderstood wife weeps into her lace hanky. So, I did the next best thing. With the world around me blurred by fury, I pulled out my phone, switched on the camera, and started recording. Their faces, Rachel's tear-streaked makeup, the decor they were so proud of, all captured in high definition. "Say cheese," I growled, making sure to get a good sweep of the whole scene. The club members, or should I say co-conspirators, their faces shifted from smug to shocked faster than you can say privacy settings. Then I turned the camera on myself. "You see this? This is the face of a man who's done with lies, done with games, and sure as hell done with this exclusive club of infidelity." I could hear Rachel's protests, her feeble attempts at defending the indefensible. "Tyler, please, it's not what it looks like." But I was over it. I turned off the camera, pocketed my phone, and shook off the hands still clinging to me. "You all deserve each other," I spat out. No dramatic exit music, no slow motion walk. I just left, the chatter and chaos fading behind me. As I stepped out into the cool night air, the silence was deafening compared to the uproar I'd left behind. But it gave me space to think, to plan my next move. Because now I wasn't just going to lay down and let them walk over me. I had a video evidence of the exclusive club that wasn't so exclusive anymore. "Hey Reddit fam, Tyler here. If you've been following my not-so-little drama, get ready for the finale." Because when I said game change, I meant it. I posted the video. Yep, that's right. Hit upload and watched as those digital dominoes started to fall. Facebook's algorithm did its thing, and the views started climbing. It was wildfire, the kind that you see in those forest documentaries, unstoppable, blazing, absolute. But it wasn't just me in this. Austin's finest keyboard warriors, the good folks of the internet who still believe in right and wrong, they jumped in. Shares, comments, even a couple of those react videos where people watch it for the first time. Their faces, names, and their dirty little secret club, it all got dragged into the sunlight. Of course, Rachel was livid. My phone blew up with messages, missed calls, a symphony of notifications. "How could you? You've ruined us. Take it down, Tyler." But the thing was, she'd already done a bang-up job of ruining us all by herself. I didn't reply. What was there to say? Thanks for the memories and the lessons in betrayal? Nah, I just blocked her number. She'd become just another contact in the list, no different from a telemarketer or a spam bot. Now, don't think I came out of this unscathed. A guy doesn't go through something like this without some cuts and bruises on the inside. But here's the kicker. I also came out stronger, wiser, with a little more grit under my fingernails. I wasn't about to sit around nursing wounds and letting the moss grow under my feet. No, sir. It was time for a fresh start, a new chapter. So, I decided to learn cold approaches. You know, the art of walking up to a stranger and starting a conversation. No masks, no secrets, just me and my newfound boldness. It's not about finding the next Rachel. It's about finding Tyler again. The guy who can chat up someone new without an agenda. The guy who's not afraid to take a step forward, even if he's still brushing off the dust from a fall. So here I am, hitting the streets, coffee shops, parks, wherever life buzzes and real people show their faces without the need for a masquerade. And it's thrilling, like the first time you ride a bike without training wheels. A little wobbly, but damn, it feels good to be in control. I'm signing off now, Reddit. Thanks everyone for listening, and if you would subscribe to the channel, that would mean the world to me. Have a great rest of your day or night.